In a small village nestled by the sacred Ganges, a boy named Arav spent his days under the weight of ridicule. He was slender and slight, his limbs wiry and unable to match the robust frames of his peers. They mocked him for his frailty, their laughter as sharp as the sting of a whip. Their taunts bruised his spirit more deeply than any physical blow ever could. Arav began to believe their words, that strength was the measure of a man, and in its absence, he was nothing. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the horizon and painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, Arav sat by the river, tears mingling with the sacred waters. His heart ached with yearning, a desperate wish to prove himself, to stand tall without being overshadowed by shame. The villagers often spoke of Mount Meru, the mythical axis of the world, a place of divine trials and celestial judgment. It was said that only the worthy could ascend its peaks, and Arav decided that if he could reach its summit, he would finally prove his worth. To his bullies, to his village, and most importantly, to himself. The journey began with little fanfare. Arav carried only a modest bundle of supplies and a heavy heart. The foothills of Meru were cloaked in dense forests, their canopies alive with the chatter of unseen creatures. As he trudged through, the doubts crept in. Could someone as weak as he truly conquer the sacred mountain? But he pressed on, spurred by a determination as fierce as the hunger gnawing at his belly. Days turned into weeks. The path grew steeper, the air thinner, and the challenges more harrowing. At the edge of a narrow precipice, Arav encountered his first trial. A jagged boulder blocked his path, too large to climb and too heavy to move. He pushed and heaved, his muscles quivering with the effort, but the rock remained immovable. Exhausted, he slumped to the ground, despair threatening to consume him. It was then that a low growl rumbled through the air. Startled, Arav turned to see a spectral tiger emerge from the shadows, its form shimmering like moonlight on water. Its eyes, pools of amber fire, met his with an intensity that made him forget his fear. "Why do you struggle so?" the tiger asked, its voice resonating in Arav's mind rather than his ears. Arav stammered, "I must ascend the mountain, but I am not strong enough." The tiger regarded him for a long moment before replying, "Strength is not only of the body. Look around you." Arav hesitated, but obeyed. He noticed vines draping from the trees above, their lengths stretching tantalizingly close to the boulder. With the tiger watching, he fashioned a makeshift pulley, using the vines to shift the rock just enough to squeeze past. When he turned to thank the tiger, it was gone, leaving only faint paw prints in the dirt. The trials grew more perilous. A raging river barred his way, its icy currents promising death to any who dared cross. Again, Arav's strength failed him. He sat by the bank, his head in his hands, until the tiger appeared once more. "Observe," it whispered. Arav watched the river's flow and noticed fallen logs drifting downstream. He gathered the debris and lashed them together, creating a crude raft to carry him across. Each time he overcame an obstacle, the tiger's silent presence seemed to guide him, though it never intervened directly. At last, Arav reached the summit. The peak was a barren expanse, its silence profound, broken only by the howling wind. He collapsed to his knees, his chest heaving with exhaustion and triumph. But as he gazed out over the endless horizon, a question gnawed at him. What had he proven? His body still bore no great strength, his arms no mighty sinews. The tiger appeared for the final time, its form luminous against the twilight. "You sought strength," it said. "But what have you learned?" Arav pondered, the weight of his journey settling over him. I thought strength was of the body, but it is not. I used my mind, my patience, and my will. The strength I sought was within me all along. The tiger's eyes gleamed with approval. Then you have conquered more than this mountain. You have conquered yourself. With that, the tiger faded into the wind, leaving Arav alone in the stillness. Yet, for the first time, he did not feel small. As he descended the mountain, the jeers of his bullies seemed distant, their echoes powerless. He had discovered something far greater than physical might, the quiet resilience of the mind and the unyielding strength of the spirit. And so, when Arav returned to the village, he did not flaunt his journey or boast of his triumph. He simply lived, his newfound confidence radiating in his every step. The bullies' taunts fell away like leaves in autumn, their words unable to touch a boy who had scaled the heights of his own soul.